I got out to bed, I rushed over to the window, and I was shocked to see the river was right up against our house. I went to turn the light on and the electricity had gone, so there was no light. So I grabbed my phone for a bit of light. I was on the stairs and I could see with my shining the light of my phone that the river was in the house up to the 4th step. Everything was just floating, and I just, I couldn't believe it, just a bit shocked. Craig came down and had a look, and he was like, well, there's nothing we can do. So I was awake then from 4 o'clock onwards.
So we put our sandbags out, went to bed as normal, and then at about 3:10, the electricity must have gone because the baby monitor started beeping at us. So we got up, Nadine went downstairs and could just see that the water had come in.
Flood-hit towns are bracing for more rain as Storm George continues. All this just weeks after 2 storms caused devastation across Wales and resulted in the wettest February on record in the UK. The River Taffs reached its highest levels for 40 years in Pontypridd this morning.
It's a beautiful part of the world. And the valleys. Yeah, you can see just how low it is on an ordinary day. And that's the road, and there starts the block of houses where I live. I'm the 4th one up, and we were all flooded. And to think, like, it went up to people's letterboxes, so... I mean, it went over this, didn't it? And that's Sion Street there. So that's the other side of the road that got flooded. And literally cars just were like bobbing up the road because they were all floating. And they just literally crashed through the wall. Maybe like 2 or 3 cars. One was definitely my neighbour's. And yeah, it just went through and it acted just as like a vacuum, so all the water just quite quickly left people's houses. And this is where the shipping container went down, livestock, everything. I work for the RSPCA, but in South Wales we were called out just as a team effort to help with human life, I guess, and those that had like dogs and stuff, because you often find people won't leave their properties because they've got a pet. One of our neighbours, her daughter, was just too scared to go to bed. That's frightening, isn't it, to wake up and be stuck upstairs and your parents have no control over being able to help you. I just think we're just trying to get through like one thing at a time.
Right, in here, out here, the water came up to about here, and I just had to bleach it all and clean it all because of all the muck that was left. It was terrible. So I remember looking out through my bathroom window thinking, oh, there's no water in the yard, that's fine. And then I heard a vacuum sort of sound. And when I looked out, obviously all the water was just pouring out into the yard. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's gone through the kitchen door into the yard. So my escape route was going to be from that window, jump onto the kitchen, and somehow or other clamber up to the top with a load of stingies and stuff if the water had got even higher. But that would have been that would have been horrendous. That was the most frightening. You know, what if we had to do that? I think you find strength in yourself, don't you, when you're in danger, and you just do it somehow or other.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades, and this country is not alone. All over the world, we're seeing the devastating impact of this invisible killer. I urge you, at this moment of national emergency, to stay at home, protect our NHS, and save lives.
All of us were placed in our temporary houses weeks before lockdown, so all of our stuff was ruined. So, you know, we're all spending the most amount of time we ever have before in our own homes, and we haven't got any of our stuff. It's horrible. You just, you know, you hear like stories of people taking advantage of lockdown and doing all this DIY to their homes, and that's lovely, and I just wish we were in a position to do that as well, but everything got stopped on our houses. Hopefully we would have been home by now. And then to be, like forced into lockdown with none, like literally none of your stuff, just whatever the day you got evacuated, you could put on your back in a suitcase and carry out.
I've popped down to Zion Street and it is hammering down. There's a tree falling in the river. Yeah, look at it. It's just so nerve-wracking to look at this river and think, oh my God, if we have a few more days like this, are we going to get a repeat of last February? And I'm not even moved back in yet. Just don't want it to happen again. I don't know what else to say other than I'm in this sort of feeling of isolation, boredom, stress.
An update from us on where we are to add to the fun of 2020 with the floods and, you know, effectively losing our home, losing both our cars. Both our cars were flooded. Mine ended up on top of Nadine's. But we've now both lost our jobs. So Nadine got made redundant in the beginning of the pandemic, and I just found out last week. So an unbelievable year, really. Literally, apart from our health, thank goodness, we've lost everything. Life won't ever be the same again, I don't think.
Scientists have warned that global warming is causing more extreme weather and heavy downpours, which can only be expected to increase in the coming years. In climate statistics, 2020 is set to go down as a record year for rainfall.
You know, when you've seen it on the news and everything, but actually when you see months afterwards, when the news has moved on, the impact that's still there, it's really kind of something that, you know, I'm not doing it just because I'm the local councillor. It's actually, I couldn't walk away from it now. We are due to have more extreme weather events in the future. And actually what we've seen is in 2020, what was predicted as happening has happened now. It wasn't a one-off. It's not that freak once in a generation kind of event, that it actually ties into what's happening around the world. We've got the Future Generations Act here in Wales now, which is supposed to be really radical, really forward thinking, and really thinking that everything we do is about future generations.